Over the hills and far away, Teletubbies come to play.
I bet many people can agree with me. They had a few bad moments in their childhood that they wish they forgot. Unfortunately, it's these things that are so easily burned into memory. Have you ever had a time in your life when you would try to remember the good things in the past, only to remember something embarrassing or shameful? Sometimes. People go for years without even thinking about any of it. That is until they find something which triggers that particular memory they never wanted to come back to. And with it comes a feeling of nausea and paranoia that is, well, that's what happened to me on this particular day. But on this day, it was raining, and you would walk down the street to see pedestrians taking shelter under the bus stops or in big coats holding an umbrella. I myself was holding one, frustrated by countless strong winds blowing it back. I was strolling down the marketplace looking for some cheap groceries. I wanted to get home quickly since the weather wasn't the best. As I was bagging some goods, I turned my head to see a table covered with old stuff. Taking a closer look, I could see there were boxes filled with VHS tapes, lined up on their sides. Most of them were rather old children's shows, such as Bob the Builder and Thomas and Friends. None of them looked pirated, to be honest, but one video case I saw had the Teletubbies logo on it. I know I'm too old to be interested, but for some strange reason I had the urge to buy it. I don't know why, I wanted to buy it. I picked up the case and looked at it. What I saw made me jump. I saw the image of a bear. As previously mentioned, some things really bring back bad memories, almost instantly. As soon as I saw that bear, so many things had gone in my mind. Horrible things. Things I can't even get myself to say. These thoughts made me really shaky and nauseated. Despite my feelings, I gave the cashier his money and put it in the bag with all the other things. When I looked back, the cashier just smiled at me. Not "have a nice day" sort of smile, but more of a "I'm glad you bought it" smile. I didn't smile back, I just walked away trying to get into my car. As I drove home, all I could think about was that bear. I would go on to one thought and then just end up thinking of it again, each time bringing that sudden feeling of fear. When I got home at about 6 p.m., I put the tape to the side while I sorted my food out. Once I was finished, I knew that the only thing I could do was watch the tape. After setting up my old VHS recorder, I stood and stared at the tape again. This time I noticed features that I previously gave no attention to. There were no company logos or symbols on the case, and no information on the back. I opened the case to see that tape had nothing on it but the word SeeSaw, written in black marker. I know, how cliche. That's usually what you get when you buy something pirated, but I didn't think much of it. I just rushed to put the tape in, hoping to get over and done with. I saw that the tape was almost halfway through, so I rewound it to the beginning. When it was done, I pressed play to see that it was nothing but black. I fast forward the tape until it was on the same place it was before. I rewinded it. Strangely, this was right before the images actually appeared on screen. I grabbed a chair from my kitchen and placed it in front of the television. I sat down and pressed the play button. It was clearly the opening of the Teletubbies had begun, with the theme music playing quietly. The music was filled with static noise and high-frequency buzzing. I noticed that it must have been cut, skipping the Sun Baby and logo. I couldn't help but notice the image had horrible quality and appeared as if the tape was decades old. The image was shaky and had a layer of static that constantly fuzzed. The color was also really bland and gray as the Teletubbies ran down the hill. The footage suddenly cut to them staring at the camera. Gray as the Teletubbies ran down the hill. The footage suddenly cut to them staring at the camera. gray as the Teletubbies ran down the hill. The footage suddenly cut to them staring at the camera. It cut again to view an empty field with small hills. The music stopped suddenly, and an image of a seesaw flashed on the screen, with a little boy on each side moving it up and down. The field then came back into view, and the only thing I could hear now was that buzzing. A small figure appeared in the distance of the field. The buzzing noise became louder, and the seesaw image flashed on screen again. The buzzing momentarily silences, as the echoey voice of an elderly woman could be heard, slowly getting louder. The image flashed again, and the screen slowly zoomed into the distant object as the buzzing noise came back. The woman's voice slowly echoed, "I'm coming. I'm coming." A high-pitched screech was audible as it slowly zoomed. And then, a bear's face flashed on the screen. Things started to get tense at this point. I was too frightened to turn the volume down. "I'm coming to get you. I'm coming to get you." I looked behind me and quickly looked back as the screeching became louder. More static could be heard. Random images of children flashed on screen every few seconds as the camera finally zoomed in until the figure filled the screen. "I am the bear, and I am coming." The horrific sound of the children crying could be heard. The camera began to zoom into the bear's face as the seesaw flashed on screen again. "I'm coming. I'm coming to get you. I'm coming. I'm coming to get you." The image flashed on screen once more. The seesaw had stopped, and the boys were just staring blankly at each other. The camera had finally zoomed in full view of the bear's face. Its mouth moved up and down as it echoed, "I'm coming. I'm coming to get you. And I will get you." The bear's eyes began to spin around. The image flashed on screen. The seesaw appeared, but with what looked like gore and blood on all around it. And it looked like it was surrounded by what appeared to be human remains. There were dead bodies. The bodies of two young boys appeared out of nowhere and caused the seesaw to slowly move up and down. They were just laying there, their clothes soaked in blood, and the sound finally stopped. I sat and stared back at this image for a minute before it went black. Needless to say, after the minute had passed, I immediately grabbed the tape out of the machine and threw it in the bin, along with the case. That night I couldn't sleep. I couldn't stop thinking about what I saw. I had to frequently check my windows. This couldn't have lasted all night, as when I sat down to try and calm myself, I must have finally fell asleep. The next morning I had to work. I needed to finish on my laptop. As I was checking my emails, I stared at my desktop background. It was a photo of me and my friend in a field. I saw a small figure on it that I don't remember being there before. I found the original image in my files and zoomed in on it. It was the bear.